Frisco Flow. Frisco Flow. Frisco Flow.
Welcome to PopCast, a crowd-sponsored yo-yo show. Huge shout out to John Anderson, Taka from Spin Gear, and Dr. Lucky Meisenheimer, and the rest of my sponsors over on patreon.com/DocPop. Well, that could have gone bad. My name is Dr. Popular. I'm a professional yo-yoer, a National Trick Innovator of the Year Award winner, and proud parent of the Desert Island Yo-Yo, my newest yo-yo. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What's up? Oh, what? Oh no. First off, Happy New Year. It's 2024, or like as I'm recording this, it's days before 2024. It's been a hell of a year. All of my yo-yo projects, I had a lot of yo-yo projects coming this year, and all of them arrived like last week or like 2 weeks, in the last 2 weeks. So these are things I've been working on for years. My little book of yo-yo, it's a yo-yo trick book that I drew in 2018. It's a comic book. I think it's funny as heck. I've been working on this for 5 years. It finally arrived. It arrived, 2 weeks ago. The Desert Island Yo-Yos, which I made with Yo-Yo Empire, these arrived. We're going to talk about these soon. Stupid Doc Pop editions, those also arrived, although I'm waiting for the packaging for them. And the platypus arrived. Oh, yeah. So like I said, the Desert Island Yo-Yo is one of the mini yo-yos that have just recently arrived. I'm super excited to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it later in this video. But for now, I'm going to teach you one of my absolute favorite tricks. It's called bus flow. This is a trick called bus flow. Bus flow is all about flow. It is a flowy trick. It can be a speed combo if you want. Basically, the elements are there. You just need to add the speed, or you can slow it down. Either way, you're gonna have these moments where you're just continuing circles in a fluid motion. You're trying to do that alpha style, joining the tricks together, making them all look like one move. And then you're gonna change the direction and you're gonna go again with the flowy thing. So it's about creating a flow, breaking that flow and kind of reversing it, and then going back and forth. So, all right, let's get into it. It starts with the trapeze. You're gonna do a pullover and a sun. So you're over your wrist. Now a sun is when you let a yo-yo swing around your hands, not like going inside, not a somersault, but you're keeping your hands stationary. The yo-yo goes under your right hand and over your left hand, over your throw hand or free hand. So you're going to pull over, continue that motion. The yo-yo the string should be behind your wrist. And this is actually going to be pretty important throughout this trick. You're going to see a lot of times I'm not doing the string here because I need lots of room, especially if you're going to do this trick fast. You need that string to be really spread back. And what that means is when you're learning this trick, the yo-yo is going to want to do a lean because you have the string being pulled back a lot. So you're going to kind of have to rush through it while you learn it. But here we go. Trapeze, sun. You're going to take this pointer finger, go behind the string, kind of like a double or nothing, and you're going to stick your middle finger out, hop the yo-yo off and onto your middle finger. So you're doing a mount. So all of that so far is going to be very flowy. Even that. Did you see how I used that finger and I went up as the yo-yo was going around to do that mount? So I'm trying to kind of combine those elements together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the pointer finger, and I'm going to now take that same finger and take this string. Again, all this is behind my wrist. So I'm going to take this string and I'm going to undercut and catch the yo-yo back on top, almost like a double or nothing again. So we're doing pull over, hop off, mount on your middle finger, drop, and now you're going to dismount, catch back on your pointer finger. So you're almost just kind of walking between these two strings, these two fingers. Once you're here, you're going to drop your pointer finger again. And there I accidentally dropped it off, which is obviously not what you want to do. But you're going to go boop, drop. Now we've got lots of wraps around my wrist. You see all those wraps? I'm actually going to unwrap. Here we're in a trapeze. Unwrap. I'm going to continue that motion. It's actually, I said unwrap, but I'm actually just continuing those circles. Because like I said in the beginning, we have 4 circles in the beginning that are all going the same direction, right? And then once you do that dismount, you're going to do 1, 2, 3. I don't know if that's the 4th one or not, right? But here you are. So here, I'm kind of doing like a Lindy loop or a double on. But what I'm doing is I'm missing, and I want that string behind my wrists all throughout this trick. Anytime you can, if you have string kind of on top of your hand, you want it to fall back. That's going to make it easier if you want to go in and do that first undercut. It's going to make it easier for everything. So really, really exaggerate how far back, how big that difference is. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to make, rather than having just this narrow area, you're really trying to make that wide, so that you have all the room to just quickly grab the right string. So we're going to do our 4 circles. Now we're going to do 3 circles. We're going to do a trick called curling here. Curling looks like this. My hand, my throw hand is going to go inside, kind of like you're kind of in a spirit bomb kind of mount, but it's really not really like a spirit bomb. So I'm going in, and now I'm going to let the yo-yo curl in. I'm going to go around, and it actually traveled through this hole right here. And when it does, you can let it fall off of your throw hand, and you don't have any knots. So again, you're going through this hole, this giant hole here. I'm going to go through and drop. That's a trick called curling. There is a tutorial separately online for curling if you need help with just that element. Curling is a repeating trick, but we're only doing curling once, and we're going to end back in this position. So we're going to kind of be here, do curling, drop, and continue. So let's go back to what we have so far. We're going to do those 4 spins in the beginning. We're going to change direction, and now we're going to continue all the way around to here. But we're actually not going to stop. Eventually, once you get here, you want to be right into curling. And once you get into curling, you want to come back out to here. So you want to end just like where you were before you did curling. You want to end right there. And now we're going to do a trick called orbital decay, which is going to be a rejection. So if you need help with curling or orbital decay, both of those have separate YouTube videos. I put the links in the description below. But both of those are going to start with that kind of droopy, kind of Miss Lindy loop thing. So you can kind of just practice practice curling. Let it go over. Or you can practice orbital decay, which is going to be that rejection. Orbital decay, just to show you how it goes, it's going to go over your wrist. I'm going to give the yo-yo a tiny hop. See that little tiny hop? And I'm going to, as I do that hop, I'm going to hit the string. And what happens is it rejects the string. It's going to send that string all the way around. So you're going to have this big hoop, and you're going to catch it back on the yo-yo itself. So you're using the rejection of the yo-yo, but you're also giving a tiny little hop to the yo-yo so that it almost lands right into that rejection. Once you're here, you're going to unwind, and you actually are on the back side, so you're going to bind. I like to bind off to the side. So if you think about this, we've done these 4 circles, the direction change, and all of these now are going in the same direction until you get to this whip. So you want to make this trick look as flowy as possible. And in order to do that, I don't think you need to do fast. You can go really slow while you're doing this and really exaggerate some of those motions. You can kick your leg back up or whatever. I don't know. I'm getting into style stuff now. But the purpose of what we're trying to do with this combo is linking tricks together. We call this alpha style. Alpha style is when you can combine tricks instead of doing trapeze, somersault, right? Lindy loop. You're actually trying to go one move. And then once you get to here, if you have to change direction, then it's gonna have to pause. You know, it's gonna have to look a certain way. But everything else, you know, we're trying to be linking elements together. That's alpha flow. It's trying not to do pauses between elements, trying to make the elements flow together. And this trick is all flow. So one more time, trapeze, pull over, sun, finger goes in, dismount, catch on the middle finger now. Drop that pointer finger, swipe under. See that little swipe? Catch it back on your pointer finger. If the yo-yo, if you just drop here, oftentimes it'll just fall down. So what you can kind of do is start that swing. To me, like start that next direction, like you've switched the direction in your mind, like you've already started going the other direction. That to me kind of helps seal that in there, kind of locks it in. So again, I'm talking about this part right here. If I just drop it here, sometimes it'll want to kind of like fall down. It'll miss. So what you want to do is like kind of start that swing, curling. And for orbital decay, you can pinch between these two fingers when you do that rejection. Orbital decay, there's a lot of finesse to it, but one little tiny bit is to hop and kind of keep some friction there so that the yo-yo string kind of doesn't want to just give up entirely. You're not completely pinching. That's just to help slow it down a little bit. When you're doing orbital decay, really it's kind of like if you do it right, there's very little friction with the fingers, but there's a tiny bit. So there, I did not touch my fingers at all. I just let the yo-yo reject the string and catch. And then when I'm talking about going to that side, boop. And that's bus flow. So that trick is called bus flow, and bus flow is actually named by a local graffiti style here in San Francisco called San Francisco bus flow. And that's bus flow is in bus that you ride on, and flow is in water, flowing. And bus flow is actually a hand style. It's very messy, it's very curly and cursive. Usually one point, you don't lift your pin off or your marker off. So bus flow is kind of a big squiggly thing. And oftentimes with bus flow, you'll see little tiny squiggles and then it gets bigger and bigger. So usually graffiti, you kind of want it to be look consistent and kind of like fit in a normal spot. And bus flow, it just sort of looks like you're kind of going and then you just kind of fell to the side. And the reason bus flow is kind of a local thing, well, first off, the legend goes, it was created by kids on the buses. Kids would get on at like 6th and Mission. They'd get on the bus and they would ride to the Mission, get off at like 24th Street, get on the opposite side of the street, catch the other bus going the other way, and head back. And they would tag on the bus. And you remember how I said it kind of starts small and then it kind of looks like it kind of moves? Well, the reason for that is it was created on buses, right? And the idea is that bus flow has the movement of the bus. So like somebody's standing up, riding, and the Muni driver, not happy that kids are tagging his bus, steps on the gas, right? So you're riding and all of a sudden, whoa, right? You kind of have this flow. And when you see bus flow, you kind of see these circles and then kind of like this big thing. And to me, this trick has flow for days, but it also has kind of like a lot of cursive. It has a lot of, you're talking about that one line, never lifting your pin off of the surface. We're trying to make this trick flow so it really connects. We're trying to make it look like one continuous line. So when you're doing this, you really want to emphasize those smooth motions, that fluid flow. And then when you have the parts where you change direction, take advantage of those, right? So you've got this flow. Now give it that break, give it a pop. Really make it look like, get people kind of lulled into these circles, right? Get people into this kind of like woo, woo, woo. And then when you do something, really kind of bring it around, really pop, make it pop. So you're really adding these styles of flow and pop into your trick. Give it that flow, keep it consistent, and pop, right? All the way through. That last part, that little orbital decay, very poppy, very nice kind of like pop. And then you change that direction and, sign off. Get off the bus, cross the street, go the other direction. If you're interested in learning more about bus flow, I'll also post a link to a Mastodon thread I put about it if you're interested in hearing some old guy talk about graffiti. Let's talk about the Desert Island yo-yos. This is a plastic yo-yo, a machined POM yo-yo. These are amazing. These are finger spin machines. They're organic yo-yos. They've got great flow. When I first started working on these, I was trying to do something kind of updated from the Bolt, if you know me, I did the Bolt yo-yo with Yo-Yo Jam a long time ago. Then we did the Bolt Part 2, and then we brought the Bolt back. So the Bolt is an organic high wall yo-yo, but I wanted something that was a little better for like the tricks that I do most of the time, which are going to be wider catch zones, more flowy, stuff like that. And I also definitely wanted it to be finger spinning. When I first started working on this yo-yo, I was idolizing a yo-yo called the Novus, N-O-V-U-S, by Yo-Yo Empire. And I've been working with Yo-Yo Empire on several yo-yos, including the Platypus and, obviously the Desert Island yo-yo, but also the Bolt. So I reached out to them and I said, hey, I want to kind of do something inspired by the Novus. Is that cool with y'all? We played around a little bit. We ended up basically making just a few small changes to the Novus. So really you could call this a Novus Part 2. If you never got a chance to get a Novus, this is your chance. But this is also the yo-yo that I had in my mind when I was working on this Desert Island yo-yo, this yo-yo that you can carry around if you're stuck on a desert island and you needed just one yo-yo to last you forever. This is the yo-yo I kind of wanted, an all-purpose beater yo-yo that was something you could just take with you every day when you go out. This is what we came up with, the DIY or the Desert Island yo-yo. These will be available on drpopular.com. These are finger spin machines too. And I know not everybody's into finger spins, but if you are, this is absolutely the best Dr. Popular yo-yo that's been released so far for finger spins. So that's it for this video. I hope you have a happy new year, happy 2024. Like I said, huge shout out to John Anderson, Talker from Spin Gear, Dr. Lucky Meisenheimer, and the rest of my sponsors over on patreon.com/docpop. I don't know if a lot of you watch YouTube videos. If you do, you've probably seen that this year's been a really weird year for YouTubers. YouTube launched YouTube Shorts. They started going after ad blockers. They're doing all sorts of weird changes. Short form content and TikTok is also becoming kind of more of a thing, obviously. And because of my sponsors over on patreon.com/docpop, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about I have to learn this new thing or I have to pivot to that. I can keep making the videos that I like making, where we talk about yo-yos, we talk about graffiti, we talk about tricks, we talk about all this stuff. And I can do this because of the sponsors over on patreon.com/docpop. So I don't have to worry about whether or not you have an ad blocker on. Doesn't matter to me. I'm not getting ad revenue. I'm getting paid from the folks over on Patreon. So thank you so much for your support. And remember, the Desert Island yo-yo, the Platypus, and the Little Book of Yo-Yos are all coming to drpopular.com January 2024.